Hello everyone, welcome to this Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation training module. In this video, we will cover the fourth exercise, which is working with business process and workflow. If you're landing to this video, this is a continuation part. Please visit the part 1, 2 and 3 in the previous session so you can able to get the idea about fourth exercise. Let me see working with business process and workflow. In this exercise, we will cover the task, which is create a new workflow category. So if you ask me like what is the workflow category, the workflow category determines whether the workflow type is available in a specific module. We will define human resources as the model of the custom workflow category. Hope you understand. So let me begin. Open the project. As you can see, this the solution and the project 3 lab 3, which is created by the previous session of the videos, part 1, part 2 and part 3. So this is the part 4. Okay, here go to the solution explorer, right click on the project and click add new item. Under the Dynamics 365 items, select the business process and workflow and select the workflow category. We can name it as MB position workflow category and click add button. You will notice there is a new folder. It's created called workflow categories under the project, and also there is a new element created, MB position workflow category. Right, just double click the workflow category element, open in the element designer. Now it's open in the element designer. Right, now as usual, check the properties, right click and click the properties, navigate to the property pane of the MB position workflow category and enter the module, which module we are working on. It's human resource. Okay, so our goal is to show the new workflow in the human resource module on the position page. So we need to make sure which model we are working and which model we want to show this category. Okay, select the model exactly, which is human resource. Search from here, select the human resources, and as usual, label it position workflow category. Right, kindly save all. Now the second task will be creating a new workflow type. So what is meant by workflow type? So workflow type, like example, to make the workflow process available for your workflow enabled entity, you must create the workflow types that are used in the workflow configuration of user interface. You need to specify the workflow category, query, and position menu item while defining the workflow type. We will see how we are doing that one. Open the studio again. Just try to click Save All. Go to the Solution Explorer. In the project, as usual, right click, click Add New Item. The same way, under the 365, go to Business Process and Workflow. Instead of Workflow Category, you will choose Workflow Type. So name it MB Position Workflow Type and click the Add button. So here in this workflow type, you need to enter the details of category, query, and document menu item. So category means like this workflow type falls under which category? Workflow category. So which we created MB position workflow category, right? Just before we created. Click on the MB position. Same, we have created the MB position query also previously. Just type the keyboard, the letter, it will show in the menu. Document menu item will be the position list, that is HCM position list. The keyboard is like little bit not giving proper response. Okay, now I chose it. Click next. So in the screen, you will see the list of elements like to be created. So these are the list of items will be created to support the workflow category and workflow type, because it required classes which include the code to execute the workflow. The same menu items, and you can say the name workflow type and even antler for each and every action. You will get to know one by one. So just click next. Just cancel this dialog box because we have done that workflow type. So now you can notice here number of folders and elements has been created, which I showed you in the previous screen, right? See, this classes has been created, folder and the related class type has been created. In the same way, the action menus has been created. Two action menus element is there: MB position, workflow type, cancel, and submit. We can see this is a pre-default will create. Now just you can open the MB position workflow type in the element designer. Just double click the MB position workflow type. it will be open in the element designer. So go to the properties, right click and go to the properties, and as usual we need to change the label, right? So yeah, here change the label to position workflow. Okay, just click save all. Now, and also you notice that we have action menus has been created folder, and below the action menus we have two element, as I told you previously. The same thing, the classes also, I told you that three element has been created, right? Okay, now we will do the like process, like approval. So for that we need to be go to the third task. So this workflow type has been done. Now the next task will be create a new workflow approval. Okay, so maybe if you didn't get the point, just go through the video step by step, so you'll understand what is the workflow category, workflow type, and workflow approval. Okay, so why this workflow approval? So this workflow approval is responsible for creating the approval process of a workflow. Okay, so this is a responsible one to create the process. It helps to create several steps and actions in the approval process. Like once you approve, the process will have a more steps, like you can say approve or reject or request change, to amend the uh, request, whether it's a uh, ledger post, journal entry post, or the PR creation, procurement purchase request creation. Any changes you can do the steps action. We will see it now. So just go to the again to the studio. Just kindly save all to make sure everything is saved properly. Now try to build one more time. So to make sure that the build has been completed and the database has been synchronized. So it will be helpful for us to the testing directly in the interface, because the synchronization of the like the build is very important as usual when we do the compiling of all the code. So synchronization also is very important. So you need to do together while do the building process. I think we have been told previously to make sure change the settings in the extension to sync the database concurrently while building the process. I think it's been done. Maybe I can show to you where it is. Okay, I just checked that if everything is okay, fine. Tools, options, under Dynamics 365, projects. Here, synchronization database on built for newly created project. Make sure this has been ticked. Okay. Now, third, workflow approval. right click on the project, click add and new item. Maybe if you cannot find the new item here, when you add, that means the build is not completed if you cannot see the new item here. Okay, click the new item. Under the business process and workflow, we have done the workflow category, we have done the workflow type. Now it's for the workflow approval. Select the workflow approval and in the name change it MB position workflow approval. Okay, click add button. Now in this dialog box, workflow document. So what is the workflow document? We have related to the position page, MB position workflow type, right? MB position workflow type document. Yes. So document preview field group. Do you remember that one? We have created this new field workflow status and we add it in the field group. That's what they are asking, like document preview field group. It will be identification. I will show you after this finished. I will choose the identification and I will show you where it is exactly. Document menu is a menu item is a HCM position list. HCM position list. Okay. Now click next. So these are the elements will be created. So for the workflow approval process, it will create a class and the menus and approval type element. Okay. So these are the much detailed. See this one, like for the outcome of the approve, it means completion. This is the event handler and this is the action menu. When you click the button, this action menu will be executed. The same way for the reject, same way for all the steps. Click next. Okay, now we can close this dialog box. Okay, now we can see, you can go to the workflow approval should be created now, where it is exactly here, workflow approval, right? And the element is created MB position workflow approval, right? Double click, it will open in the element designer. Okay, now go to the properties of it and change the label as position approval. Okay, now we change it. Just try to save it all. Okay, now we'll go to the action menus. Where is the action menus? Okay, this is the action menus. Action menus are menu which it will execute the code. Okay, where we will write the X++ code. The code will be in the class. This is the class. So each class we will write the code through the action menu. It will execute. Okay, we can see in the further videos. Now you can see there is a approve, delegate menu item, reject, request change, and resubmit. These are the action menus has been created for this workflow approval. Okay, just try to click save all. Now the next step will be updating the workflow type. Update the workflow type. So like, what is the workflow type? It's MB position workflow type, right? I think it's better to mention here so you can understand clearly uh, what element we are talking about, right? So it will be easy for you to be referred, I believe. So the create a new workflow approval means what is the workflow approval element is MB position workflow approval. Okay, and same create a workflow type. So what is the workflow type is a MB position workflow type, right? That should have been created before. The same for MB category, MB position workflow category. I think it will be much more clear for you. Okay, so now we will do the update. I think, yeah, the keyboard have some error issue. Workflow type. Okay, go to the studio, click save all, go to the MB position workflow type. Okay, this is the MB position workflow type. Double click, it will open on the element designer. So right click the supported elements and select new workflow element reference. Okay, so go to the property of the workflow element reference one which we created now. On the right hand side, you go to the label. It's not scrolling down as usual. Okay, we can directly rename it here. You can name it as MB position workflow approval. Okay, okay, and the element name also same in the properties, MB position workflow approval. Okay, click save all. That's it. So now we have completed the fourth exercise, which is working with business process and workflow. Okay, in the next video we will cover the remaining exercise, which is the fifth one, called working with user interfaces. Okay, please check the another video continuation of this project. Thank you.